In my last video, I made an AFK gem farming guide for new players to make 6,000 gems a day without the requirement of having legendary units. But after getting so many gems, you need something to spend it on, right? Right? Well, here's my in-depth showcase on all the legendaries in the game. An image like this will be shown for every legendary in this showcase. Now, to go over everything, the image in the center is the unit that I use to get these stats. As you can see, it's a level 70 Bulmy. All the units that I'll be showcasing today will be around level 60 or above. At the bottom left and bottom right, I did add their level 1 counterpart stats at upgrade 0 and upgrade max. I also included a DPS per second stat for all the upgrades on the unit. To get the stat, you simply divide the attack by the attack speed, and you should get the damage per second of the unit. Now lastly, I did add a total cost to upgrade the unit to the max. Now I know this may seem a little confusing at first, but trust me, it is very simple. So feel free to just pause and gather all the information you want from these images at any given time. But let's continue on with the showcase. Now, Bulmy is a money maker. At the start of every round, she gives you a certain amount of money depending how much you've upgraded her. Now, leveling up Bulmy does not matter. Her stats will be the same whether she's level 1 or level 70. Next up, we have Dabo. Now, Dabo actually does an extra 4% of their total damage in fire. This is his first AoE attack. When you upgrade Dabo to get his second form attack, it becomes a cone AoE with pretty good range. Next up, we have Goko Blue. Now, Goko Blue's attack is a straight line attack. Now, don't be fooled, even though the projectile that Goko Blue throws goes through all the units, he'll only damage those that are in his circle range. When you upgrade him into his next attack form, his wave gets a little wider. Next is Mivawk. Mivawk has a really small AoE as his first attack. When you upgrade Mivawk to get his second attack, it becomes a long straight line. And the same with Goko Blue, even though his animation goes through the entire map, he does not attack more than what he's able to. Next up is Kazeki. Now Kazeki has a cone AoE attack, and he also deals an extra 25% bleed damage. When he gets upgraded to his next attack form, he gets more range. Next up is Blackhair. Blackhair starts off with a rectangle AoE. He also afflicts a cursed state onto his enemies. What this does is that it increases damage taken to them by 10 to 15%. When he upgrades into his next attack form, his entire range becomes an AoE itself. Next up, we have Touci. Touci starts off with a rectangle AoE. When you upgrade her into her next attack form, she becomes a decent sized circle AoE. Next up, we have Agony. Agony starts off with a pretty decent sized AoE. Once you get his next attack form, he will have this great ability to knock back enemies. Norro is next. Norro starts off with a pretty small AoE. Once you get his next attack form, his AoE becomes significantly bigger. Next up, we have Jiorno. He's a pretty good boss killer, and his first attack is a okay size AoE. His second attack form is basically just a visual change. And here we have Gio. Gio is one of the best legendaries in the game. He starts off with a really small AoE, but he does big damage. His next attack phase is called Road Rolla, and it allows you to freeze enemies for a good 3 seconds or so. Considering this, Gio can be both support and offensive. Up next is Goko Black. Goko Black is a heal unit, and he throws a spear that explodes into an AoE. Once you get his second attack, his AoE becomes bigger. Next up, we have Kazoru. He's also another heal unit, and his AoE is pretty big. Once you get his next attack, his AoE becomes even bigger. Here we have Itochi. Itochi is another hillside unit and probably one of the best ones for legendary units. Provides burn that deals an extra 20% of his DPS. His first attack is a single target, while his second attack is a pretty okay AoE. Starting with the summoners, we have Erein. He'll summon 3 titans equal to the amount of HP you have in your stats. Meaning if Erein has a heart of 75, he'll summon 3 25 HP titans. Once you get his next mode, the Attack Titan, he'll be able to summon a Titan 5 times the HP that he has in his stats. The Attack Titan can also deal damage, but it rarely happens. For the last summoning unit, Orwin. In my opinion, the best legendary in the game. He summons 1 unit with the amount of HP stat that he has. But not only does he summon, once you get him to his next mode, he's able to buff his teammates by 25% damage to anyone around him. The second to last unit is Zeike. He's another heal unit. You can only get him from raids though, so you gotta be level 25 or above to get him. He starts off with amazing range and a decent AoE. Once you upgrade him to his next attack, he gets even more range and more AoE. And the last unit, Noruto. Just like Zeike, another raid unit. His beginning attack is a really small AoE. His next attack will be a bigger AoE. And the last attack variant he gets is an even bigger AoE. And that is basically it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next one.
I think I'm in love, say it way too often. I can't play these games, think I'm switching up the offense. See me in LA, I be moving cautious. I can feel no pain rolling up, I'm so exhausted. I be so exhausted. Whoa.